Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to After the Snap. It is I, Tasha, and we are here to talk about some ish that we knew was coming. We saw it coming, y'all. Oh my gosh, I just didn't think they was gonna go there. I honestly did not think. I felt like we needed to go there, but I did not think we were gonna go there. Not on Disney Plus, so they are showing us that yes, this is not your grandma's Disney Plus. This ain't your grandma's Disney Channel, y'all. Gosh, it's so different. Hey, Bougie. Girl, I didn't know you was watching X-Men 97. Hey, Justin. When Grace stopped by early, he said he may not be able to join us for the main topics, but he wanted to say hi to everybody. So, hello, When Grace. If you're watching this on the rebroadcast, we missed you. All right, y'all. I don't know. Shit. Let's get into. Hey, Clarence. Good to see your face in the place, sir. So yeah, we doing this X-Men 97 thing, y'all. So everybody, we're gonna pull out a little liquor for some stuff that happened in this episode, in honor of Jean Grey and the seeming sacrifice. It might have been a sacrifice. We don't know. The sacrifice, we're going to call it a sacrifice. The sacrifice that she might have made in this episode. That is why I brought out the Jean hair, y'all. So in honor of Jean Grey, I'm wearing her hair. Oh, well, okay. Bougie Barbie says she hopes that she could be inspired to watch X-Men 97. If you are even slightly an X-Men fan, this is about to be this is must watch TV. This is must see TV if you are a fan of the X-Men. If you're not a fan of the X-Men, this is not regular superhero fare. The X-Men animated series has always been part superhero, part soap opera. So there's a little something for everybody. And then if you like looking at allegories, X-Men 97 is telling a story that sounds slightly familiar. So you can take from that what you will as well, because I'm not shy at all about saying what I see in it when I am watching not just X-Men, any show. Y'all know I'm always looking for deeper meaning, deeper connections, more sociological connections, and there are so many in X-Men. So if you have never been an X-Men fan, I think you can start with X-Men 97, episode 1, and there are some things that you might be a little confused on, but they do a good job of exposition. Hey, Betty Confetti, good to see you. Happy belated birthday, girl. Happy belated birthday. So yeah, they do an excellent job of when things are a little murky for people who are uninitiated into X-Men and X-Men lore. They do a lot of exposition. And for some X-Men fans, that can get to be a bit boring or get to be a bit redundant. But for people who are just entering the franchise, you will need some of that to kind of get you oriented as to where we are. And where we are is crazy. I got my mind on the weather and my weather on my mind. And I use that as my thumbnail because that was probably, hey, whoever that is on Facebook. Hey, Facebook. I don't know who's on Facebook. Let me see how many people we got over there. We just got one. I don't know who's on Facebook, but hey, Facebook. So I liked that line. We got an introduction, not an introduction. We got to see the sisterhood between Jean Grey and Aurora Monroe, who is Storm. And that was a perfect line that was said in that moment. Jean said, make them mind your weather. And then Storm said, and you their mind, or them your mind. So she wanted people to, Jean Grey got a strong mind. She's a telepath. She's kinetic. So puns, yay! But I enjoyed that part. But we'll get to that part because we still got to get through some other ish. Speaking of other ish, I do need to tell you about our streaming updates because this week is Mother's Day week and I'm taking it off on Sunday, which means we have to do our conversations on other days. Other days that we're going to do, of course, is today, Friday. We're doing X-Men 97. Saturday, tomorrow, we'll be doing the Star Trek Discovery. And then we're skipping Sunday. Monday, we got something new. That is the first episode featuring our new Doctor Who, the 15th Doctor, Ncuti Gatwa. I can't wait to discuss that with you as well. And some things that may be coming up the pipe soon will be, of course, more coverage of Doctor Who. Possibly The Acolyte on June 4th, Evil on May 23rd, The Boys on June 13th. If you're watching any of those series, you want to see a live stream breakdown or a video breakdown, you tell me which way you'd like to see me go with those series, and we're going to try to make it happen. Ain't making no promises. I'm going to try to make it happen. All right, so we start off X-Men 97. We got Xavier in bed. And if we don't look at Xavier's face and think this is a man who really wished that he could be anywhere but laying up in his bed by himself, because he's gotten used to being on Shi'ar with his lady love. Hey, David, good to see you. Good to see your face in the place. He'd rather be on Shi'ar with his lady love, but instead he's laying here back on Earth in this bed by himself, and he looks annoyed by this. He's more than just a little bit annoyed. He looks very annoyed by this. So this, of course, is after the events of last episode where Bastion released the Prime Sentinels on all the X-Men and it just battle after battle all over the country. And then all over the world, I'm saying country, all over the world, there were battles with these Prime Sentinels. And then we saw at the end of that episode, Magneto shut down the electromagnetic field around Earth, just shut it down. And in shutting it down, it's basically a declaration of war. And the reason why it's a declaration of war is because when you shut down Earth's electromagnetic field, that has repercussions on every sector of life. Y'all, have we ever paid attention to how much we rely on electricity and everything staying where it's supposed to be within this electromagnetic field, the poles staying where they're supposed to be? Even if the poles reversed, it would F life up as we know it. But when you shut the entire thing down, there are problems. So we're waking up with Professor X in this new world with these new problems. In the mean and in between, we got Magneto. And y'all see he got that helmet again. He's got the helmet again, y'all. So you know that he's re-entering his villain era if he puts that helmet back on. So we like crossing our fingers, please, Magneto, change your mind. Don't put the helmet back on. Magneto was like, F them kids. I'm putting this helmet back on. And he does. So what did you say here? I'm not what? I'm not bad. Wait a minute. Oh, you're answering a question. Silly me. I thought you were asking a question or telling me something. Then we see Bastion. He's crying over his mama. I'm like, dude, you did this. But then we find out that his mama was kind of mutant phobic as well. I came up with mutant phobic. That's me. I said that. Mutant phobic. His mama was a mutant phobe, and he thinks that he was doing his mother a favor, I'm pretty sure, by putting or making her into one of the Prime Sentinels, but she ends up one of the first ones to go down after the battle with the X-Men in last week's episode. She put up a hell of a fight. Remember, her slippers was glowing and shit. She put up a hell of a fight, but his mama went down. One of the first ones to go down because she was one of the first ones who bumped into some X-Men just chilling at her house. But anywho, so but we did get another thing. The Bastion in his loss, or his mama ain't dead. She's been shut down by Magneto. In losing his mother to this electromagnetic failure of the entire field, he also is going to have him a little Thanos moment. At least it was a Thanos moment to me. Y'all tell me if that was a Thanos moment. We also see here, but now she's got Roberto with her civilians, and they chase her into an alley. This time she's got Roberto. I don't know why I can't say these words. Roberto with her, but they're not even going to need each other, because first and foremost, this little group of civilians, they were making some real daring threats against people that they know have powers, because they like, we hope they, too bad that they ain't got electricity in the hospital because you're going to need it, and we hating mutants and all of this stuff. They just talking mad cash crap until Big Sister shows up with her new boyfriend. Big Sister Storm has shown up with her new boyfriend, and she's not playing. Anytime you hear Storm's theme song, she didn't come to play. Have I mentioned this? I don't think I have. How much I love her theme music when she's coming, and when she's turned on, that music that comes on, I'm like, oh yes, it gets you so hyped. That is how I'm feeling about Storm this season. Clarence said Magneto going ham was a good juxtapose to him standing down at the end of the original series. So that is something to think about. He stood down. He decided, you know what? I will walk Xavier's path. I'll walk his path. He wants me to take over his X-Men in his death. And then you find out Xavier ain't dead. You also find out that no matter who is in charge of the X-Men, humanity is going to always fear the mutants, period, point blank. I don't know what's going to happen for it not to be that way, but right now, the way it looks is that is always going to be the case. And this has been going on for how long? Longer than I've been here, right? So it's been going on for so long, it's hard to believe that that it's going to change overnight. So Storm and Forge come to the rescue of Jubilee and Roberto, and in the mean and in between, you see Professor X going through the X Mansion, assessing the damage. And let's just be real. The X Mansion is always getting wrecked. We know that it gets wrecked damn near every season at the absolute least, but probably every couple of episodes. The X Mansion goes to shit. Well, he has to assess the damage, and as he rolls through what's left of the X Mansion, we see him like basically he realizes that, damn, all these people getting hurt because of decisions that I made. And I don't blame Professor X completely and totally, but partially, yes, I do. Hey, Lysandra, good to see your face in the place. So I like these kinds of shots because it's animation. They don't have to use these types of dramatic shots, but when they do, we see Xavier in a regular wheelchair. He's not in one of his fancy hover chairs. Shit then went back to basics. He's gone back to almost where he was when this whole thing started. And by the whole thing, we're talking to X-Men. Okay, so we go back to Bastion. He's putting his mama to bed, and you see still the picture that he drew when he was a teenager about his dream That was his dream, to release the Sentinels on mutant kind and to free humanity from the pressures of having mutant kind be the superior race on the planet. So he does that. Then he's like, it's finally quiet because the electromagnetic field has shut down. And we learned that Bastion he is so connected with technology that he can hear it all running at one time. It has to be insanely loud. It is finally quiet for him. It's quiet. So his mama, though he is suffering a loss, he feels like he won. And that is how I felt like Thanos felt at the end of Infinity War. He's like, now he can just watch the sunrise on a grateful universe, even though the universe wasn't grateful. He went to his garden planet. He sat down and he rested because he had won. That is how Bastion is feeling right now. I won. I can sit down and I can rest, and it's quiet. I thought that was a profound statement, because we know that they are coming to bring the noise real soon. In the meantime, we go back to the alley and we see how happy Jubilee is to see Storm. It's like, I don't even realize that she ain't got the same clothes on. I got my head sitting right in between her pillows on her chest, and it doesn't even matter because Storm is just there to be supportive of her in this moment. Man, so it was some heavy scenes. This was one of them when Professor X starts to talk to Scott and Jean, and then Scott and Jean, Jean was quiet. Scott was doing the talking. Scott was like, well, what the hell did you think was going to happen? You turned our home over to a madman while in your absence instead of leaving it to me, which is what I thought you was going to do. But you didn't turn it over to Magneto. And yeah, look where everybody is. And we're right back here. We're here anyway, because Professor X was like, well, I was trying to free you guys and let you guys go and have a normal life. They will never have a normal life. And that is what Scott told him. We'll never have a normal life. We always end up right back here. And then Xavier was like, well, shit, so do I. You see, I'm back here. I didn't want to be back here either. And he extended his hand to Scott, and Scott left him hanging. And I thought, oh my gosh, this speaks volumes. Scott is not going for Professor X and his little excuses as to why he did what he did. In the meantime, Rogue then woke up. Rogue slept through 2 damn episodes, but she's woke now, and she wakes up and immediately, because sitting in the room with, of course, has been her brother the entire time, Nightcrawler, he hurries up and he teleports to her bedside. He's trying to, first and foremost, assess how she's doing. He's trying to see if she's well. But then the next thing he's trying to do is tell her that one of the people that she thought died during the Genosha massacre survived. And when he told her that somebody else survived, she immediately thought it was Gambit. She said Remy. And the look on Nightcrawler's face is all we needed for her to know, no, Remy did not. Remy is he dead. He dead. Magneto is back. Remy is gone. But who's coming back is Storm. She's finally made it back to X Mansion, and Jean is so flippin' happy to see her. Professor X seemed to know about Cable already. Yeah, and that's kind of strange too. Yes, but he did to know all about Cable. He knew about, he called him Nathan, called him by his government name. You know what I mean? So shoot. Yeah, he did seem to know. And that is kind of strange. Jean is so happy to see Storm. And again, this was them setting up to tell us just how close these two are. we get to see them in behaving girlishly with one another. I thought that was a good thing to include. And then you got Forge and Beast. They know one another and they come dap it up. And you can see it looks like Storm is like, oh, my man is getting on with the family. Oh, how sweet. She looks like she's happy that he's getting on so well with everybody. But I have to ask a question. The question I still have for this is, how is Forge, how does he feel about Bastion being behind all this ish? Because Bastion and he were in that picture together at his house, right? So he knows Bastion. He knows Dr. Adler as well. So how does he feel knowing that two people that he knew, to include himself, because he did kind of help advance the neutralizer, at least tech, why isn't he saying anything about his relationship or his familiarity at the absolute least with Bastion? So I'm wondering if another shoe is still yet to drop with Forge. I hope not. I don't want to even be right about it. So I haven't even made up a complete theory in my mind of what I think is happening with Forge, because I really and truly hope that Forge is being on the up and up, 100% on the up and up, and maybe he's already told them some shit that I didn't know about. Next one is Storm. She is basically lamenting the fact that everybody had gotten so separated, and this happened to their home where they live, where they lay their head. This is what happened because of hatred. And he asks the question, what happened here? A lot happened there, Storm. I mean, y'all looking down into where the fucking living room used to be. It don't take a genius to see what happened there, Storm. But she said we're gonna face this and we're gonna do it like we do everything else, as a family. And usually when somebody says that in a series, the family starts to break up. The family, they all end up going their separate ways, and this series is no different. Now, she said we're going to face all of this as a family, and they go and they start having another sit down with Professor X, and people start jumping on Professor X again. This time it was Sunspot. And I'm like, dude, we don't even know who the fuck you are. How dare you try to come for Professor X, and you are new here. You should not have this much to say. But I guess they got Sunspot, Roberto, BT Dubs. They got him saying what everybody else is thinking. Everybody else is thinking, why would you leave Magneto, this school? So Sunspot asked the question, and yep, we get the answer from Scott. And the answer from Scott is, we're not going to keep reliving and we're not going to keep blaming each other. We're going to figure out a way to get past this. Now, I know I just left him hanging not even 2 or 3 minutes ago, as far as how fast X-Men 97 moves. It was 2 or 3 minutes ago that I left him hanging, but I'm not about to let you disrespect him, sir. What? Oh, you're listening while you're doing something else. Not a problem, David. I see her. I see all they have their little board going of Bastion and Magneto, and how are they going to fight this war that they're trying to fight now on 2 fronts. Somebody is going to have to stop Bastion. Somebody is going to have to stop Magneto. They think they can talk sense into Magneto. I don't know what makes them think that. I don't know what makes them think that. And the reason why I still feel like Magneto is in play for a reason. Bastion left him alive, left him unguarded, and left, what's her name? Valerie Cooper, left her along with him for a reason. I refuse to accept that Magneto wasn't under some type of influence from Bastion when he left and did the whole the magnetic field thing. When he did that, I think Bastion knew what was going to happen, and he just let the freaking cards fall as they may. We got some, I guess, foreshadowing from Wolverine, because he said there's only one way this thing is going to end today, and then he lets out his freaking claws, and I'm like, that he always want to pull his claws out. Now, at that point in the episode, did I think that we were going to see what we saw by the end of the episode? I had already formed that opinion in my mind, but I had still continued to talk myself into the fact that they will not show that on Disney Plus. I kept saying it. I was right in one hand and I was wrong on the other, because Disney Plus said, hold my fucking beer. I'm going to show you that we ain't scared. Speaking of scared, everybody should be scared of Storm. Everybody should be scared of Storm. Storm walks in on Forge and Beast, and they are trying to make this tech in order to neutralize Bastion's powers, to suppress his powers over the Sentinel army that he has, right? So they're doing it. Storm comes in boss mode, because the first and only thing that she says to these two is, impress me. She said, impress me. And they go on and start impressing her by telling her what they were up to. We're making this, we got to put it on Bastion's head. But once we do, his connection to the Sentinel army that he has will be lost. He will not be able to control that army the way that he has been able to. So, okay, you made this. And then Beast even takes it a little step further. He was like, shoot, we could do this and technobabble. I don't know what the hell he was talking about half of the time, but one of the things that he wanted to do was make this to where this shit would be permanent. That will permanently mess with Bastion's, will neutralize his powers permanently. The looks on Storm's face as she's hearing him explain his thoughts about what he wanted to do to Bastion, you can see she's like, I'm not having this. I can't even believe this dude said this. What did you say? I can't even believe you. Wait a minute. What did you say? What I think you said? So she did that, and then she powered up on him. That's basically like, look, that's how I got in the situation that I was in. I do not want to see anybody have this type of technology used on them. We got to think of another way, because that technology can get into the wrong hands, and then we'll be right back where we are right now with somebody else who has lost their powers because of this technology. Clara said, yeah, I was like, dang, Storm, we might need this thing. But the way things continuously go for them is like, it always gets in the wrong hands. It always does. So I'm with Storm. I'm gonna look at you and I'm gonna make sure that I'm gonna do a double take. Did you really say that? Wait a minute. Well, did you really say that? She powered up on them, and they changed their minds, because Forge knew that his boo is not playing. She ain't playing. She's dead serious. We can't make this permanent for nobody. So there's that. In the meantime, now we're heading to catch up with Magneto. We need to talk to him. But then I was looking, because Professor X and Rogue were having a conversation, and you see Rogue has got on Remy's coat because it probably still smells like him. And she just wants to feel him. So she's got his coat on. But that wasn't the weirdest thing about what he had on, or what she had on. She also got on this green outfit. And I'm like, that green outfit is from her villain era. So does that mean that once we started seeing this Aurora Borealis, or the electromagnetic waves, of course they're not around the entire Earth anymore. They're only around Magneto. So when we seen this ish coming, we knew Magneto was coming, and he's dropping down on a freaking asteroid, I guess. And He shows up, and once again, Wolvie is ready. Blades come out. Everybody's standing around. They're prepared for whatever Magneto is coming to throw at them. And all he threw at them was an offer. His offer is, look, I'm about to F this entire planet up, but you guys can live. You can survive. And the way that you can survive is by getting on this asteroid and coming with me. This whole dream idea, yeah, it was cute. It's not cute anymore. It can never happen. So if you want to keep dreaming, sit down here with Professor X. But if you want to start living, come on up here with me. And Professor X, once again, everybody is just dogging him straight to his face. So there we are. Magneto dogs him right to his face and then starts taking his kids. Now, you can see Professor X looks defeated in this frame because Rogue, after she done went off on all her quote unquote family, she done went off on everybody. She gives the coat, Remy's coat, back to Xavier because she know Remy wouldn't want her wearing that coat, canoodling with Magneto because, things. Like I said, I guess it goes into the soap opera part of things. So for 4 reasons, she didn't take that coat with her. She left it with Professor X, and then she went with Magneto. Because and I got ahead of myself because I'm not looking over here. I should be looking over here too. But I got ahead of myself because when she said that ish about Morph, she was like, Morph, you didn't even make it 30 minutes before you got killed. And she's talking about the original animated series. Within the first 2 episodes, was it? Morph was gone. Morph was killed really early in the series, and then he came back because soap operas, just like we say, people in soap operas come back all the time. People in X-Men come back all the time. Nobody is ever really dead. Keep that in mind when we start thinking about Gambit. Nobody is ever really dead in the X-Men universe, right? Justice said he believed that was a great moment for Storm when she was like, please do not play. We're not about to make this permanent for anybody. Justice says Professor X is going to make everyone pay in the end, in my opinion. I mean, but in what way, Justin? Given the actual character of Professor X, in what way would he make them pay? And this is a serious question. I'm not asking it to be facetious. Clarence says, I definitely know some. It's let's burn all this ish down, people. Magnus has had enough. Yeah, it's a wrap. He's like, I tried it your way. I tried it my way. Now we about to do something entirely different. I'm going to let these mother effers die. I'm not trying to go off into my own separate part of the world. I'm going to let all these people die, and then we're going to come back and reclaim the planet. What's up, Felicia Pierce? In his house. Girl, you must have got off early. It's earlier than it's. Yeah, I know. I'll talk to you as soon as this live stream is over. So Professor X was like, yeah. I mean, Magneto was like, yes, we're going to burn this ish down. Burn it down. And all these people can die. I don't care about y'all dying. Then we're going to come back and we're going to reclaim the planet for the mutants. But yeah, I love the Morph thing that they talked about, how he died immediately. Magneto leaves 2 members of the team go along with them. Those 2 members are Rogue and Sunspot. Sunspot, not much of a loss. I don't care. You go. But Rogue, that hurt my heart. Rogue, you broke my heart doing that. We in the hangar, y'all. Now look, y'all know I don't pay no attention to vehicles and cars. I rarely do anyway, but I thought I would put this one up there for the people who do know. I was hoping Wingrace would be here because I'm pretty sure he has some insights on what's what. We do see a Professor X hover chair. We see some vintage cars. One of them, I believe, might have been Rogue's car. Girl, Rogue left, and she left her car, because I think that red car with the rag top is hers. So she left that. I don't know what cars belong to everybody. Okay, Jonathan, I'm coming to you. I'm coming to you because we got to ask ourselves some questions about Sunspot and Jubilee. Justice says all his pain and rage combined with all other human and mutants will be unleashed. When you kill a person's dream, there's nothing left. There will be an onslaught of sorts. But that to me is when you say Professor X is going to make them pay. No, but onslaught is, because Professor X, at the end of the day, he still is Professor Xavier. He still has a dream of coexistence, even though he realizes that the dream is going to be harder to attain than he initially probably thought. And he probably thought it's going to be pretty hard. Then he realized it's going to be even harder now. But I still think that Professor X thinks it can be done. Onslaught, on the other hand, is an entirely different story. And we will get to Onslaught. We talked about Onslaught at length a couple of weeks ago. I told y'all I thought this was going to happen. I told y'all what I thought we were going to see in this episode, and hallelujah, it happened. But I wasn't ready, y'all. So Jonathan was saying that he still wants Sunspot and Jubilee to get together. Haven't they been together? How do we feel about Sunspot and Jubilee? He might have taken her. He may have, how I say this, he may have deflowered our Jubilee after her 18th birthday. And, we don't know, but it sure looked like things were headed in that direction for these two. Then she just makes him get his mama's credit card and spend all this money on her. There could be some power of the what going on here. So they've gotten together. He may have deflowered her, and then you just float off into the sunset, literally, with Magnus. I don't know if I want him with my little sister at this point. I don't know. Sunspot going bad felt forced. He was the one person, though, who had no connection to no part of this. He is basically looking for survival. He did not ever at any point want to be identified as a mutant. That's number one. And then number two, he has no connection. He never fully embraced the X-Men. His mama don't want him. He realized now my mama, turned me over to these Sentinels. The only person who is talking about fighting back, who I might feel safe with, would be Magneto. So with him, I can halfway understand him going to the left. Rogue, that's who she hurt me with that. Rogue hurt me. Justice says, I think we're going to have an evil Professor X and Onslaught combo, in my opinion. We're going to get to that because we got to slide through some other things. One of the things we're going to slide through is the conversation between Scott Summers and his son, Cable. So Cable is like, so you're going to tell me to be safe? And Scott is like, no, I'm going to tell you to give them hell. And in the meantime, I'm also going to give you this uniform so you don't stand out like a sore thumb. Everybody knows whose side you're on. Did I mention that we broke up into two teams? I didn't mention that, did I? We're breaking up into two teams, the gold team and the blue team. So we've seen it happen before. We're seeing it happen now. I don't remember who was on part of what team, but I know the team that was led by Jean and Storm, that's the direction that Cable went. Cyclops went with on Professor X, and they're going to catch up with Magneto. This group is going to catch up with Bastion. All right, so we got a new uniform for Cable. I'm so sick. I hate that the phone does this when I'm talking. phone don't ring all damn day, and then all of a sudden it starts beeping while I'm talking to y'all. And I guess I could just cut it off, right? Let's just cut it off. Not all the way off, silly. I'm just gonna turn the ringer off. But anyway, so there's that. Scott says to Cable, and this was like shots fired. I love it because shots was fired at the original Wolverine X-Men costume in the X-Men movies when Logan gets his uniform and he was like, am I supposed to fight in this? And Scott asked him, what did you expect? A yellow leotard? Is that what he said? A yellow leotard? Well, in this one, Scott gives Cable his uniform and he was like, what did you expect? Black leather, and boom, I got my lick back. We even now. Don't come for us again. That's what X-Men 97 is saying to the regular X-Men movies. Do not come for us again, because we have obviously put together 10 episodes that's better than any movie. Am I wrong? Help me. Is there an X-Men movie that has been better than the entirety? If we put X-Men 97 together as this entire season as a movie, as a extended movie, has there been an X-Men movie that is better than what we've gotten in X-Men 97 so far? I'll wait. That's right. It has not been. There is nothing better. So I like that. We got President R. Kelly in the house. R. Kelly, well, in the astral plane, he's not actually in the house. He's having a meeting with Charles Xavier in the astral plane. And R. Kelly is like, look, we gonna have to do something. We got to do something. And Professor X was like, just leave it up to me and my X-Men. And it was like, yeah, but you and your X-Men was down there when this shit went down, and it still went down. So now we got to figure out how we get stuff turned back on. We got to get the lights back on around here because people are dying. So the people who didn't die the first day definitely gonna die the second. You know what I mean? As a matter of fact, Storm told us when the sun goes down tonight, it goes down on the future. We wake up tomorrow in the future, and the future ain't gonna be pretty. We know that. Can't be pretty. There's no way it can be pretty. No electromagnetic field. The first hours, birds should be starting to fall out of the sky. We should start to see true fallout from what happened with the electromagnetic field. Clarence said, chef's kiss on the costume comment. Mwah. It was perfect. Shots effing fired. But President R. Kelly, he said that he was going to give Professor X an opportunity to fix things, but something tells me that he better have a plan B. And in the moments leading up to them leaving for this battle, we got to see how these X-Men prepare for battle. And we start with Beast. He is with Trish Tilby, who, remember, Trish Tilby turned into a Prime Sentinel and then attacked him in X-Mansion last week. Well, he's caring for her. So he still loves Trish Tilby. She means the world to him. And he thinks that whatever it is that he and Forge are working on can restore people's humanity. These same people whose heads and body parts got all chopped up by Nightcrawler and Wolverine, they supposed to get fixed somehow by Forge and Beast. I don't know how that's coming or how that's happening. And I think that the reason why Beast wants to believe that he can fix people is because of his love for Trish. He may not have even known how much he cared for her until this happened to her. Justin says, oops, I went to the wrong one. Justin says, I'll agree, this is the best, but First Class and Days of Future Past were great. Please don't hate me. I don't hate nobody. The movies, if I would have never seen X-Men 97, I would probably be like, okay, the movies weren't bad. Some of them were horrible. Okay, I'll be honest. Some of them were not good. but others were fantastic. So I can't hate you for that. I feel the same way. But X-Men 97 has been roughly, once we get all said and done, it would be roughly 5 hours of TV. And they managed to reinvigorate a fandom. They managed to make Disney Plus a place for mature adult animation. They made, there are a lot of different things that happen with X-Men 97 that I'm like, wow, I'd have never thought they could do it. And I never thought they would. I keep going back to I never thought they would. And they proved me wrong. Clarence said, also, Hugh Jackman made a comment about the Deadpool 3 costume just felt right. Yeah. And it doesn't look bad. Like, I can imagine they could have made it look really cheesy. It doesn't look bad. And it's I guess an indication that we can go back to some of the comic accurate stuff. When Wanda goes full Scarlet Witch mode and all of that, those things do not look bad. I understand why you may not have wanted to introduce them in these costumes or whatever. But now, where we are in 2024, we can make this stuff look modern and look real and look edgy and look lived in and not look cheesy and cartoony. And I think that's what a lot of people were afraid of. Justice said, just joking. This has been a great few years of shows. Like to think this crew and our positive vibe have helped. Yeah, a lot of people. I don't think I've heard anybody say anything bad about X-Men 97, and that is amazing. I don't think I have heard one person complain about this. And I mean, women are watching it, not just the women who are into comic books and sci-fi fantasy, comic book movies, whatever. Not just those women. Other women are watching this because the movie or the series fits together like a soap opera. And I'm not saying that only women watch soap operas. Please don't hit me with that. However, I'm saying that the storytelling is not just open this comic book, everything that's in the comic book, we just go shake it out right here onto the screen. No, we're seeing changes. Things are taking us by a little bit by surprise, and it's something for everybody. And I'm enjoying that. So Trish Tilby in the hospital bed. We got a lot of slides to get through, so I better keep it moving. We see everybody getting prepared. As I said, you see Nightcrawler praying with the rosary. You see Jubilee in the background. And at first I was like, is she on a cell phone? But no cell phones in 97, right? She's looking at Roberto's card that he gave her way back in the first episode. And there are a few things that we should notice about this card. And I'm going to have to make it bigger on my screen because I want to tell y'all about what it is that I see that's important about this card. Okay, so about the card. You see this little number, 009-071-982. No, that is not Roberto's social security number. But that is Bo DeMaio's birthday. Bo DeMaio's birthday is 9/7/1982. So a little wink and a nod to Bo DeMaio. And then we see 1 Claremont Avenue, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Okay, so 1 Claremont Avenue would be pointing us to Chris Claremont, who is one of the most prolific writers of X-Men comics and novels. And finally, that 9/7/82 can also be tied to the New Mutants. And look who's right there front and center. It's Sunspot. You tell me that Bo DeMaio didn't put some loving care into this season. These little tiny little Easter eggs are something to behold because he knew that we would stop and look at this ish. There's one thing that I did not add, I don't think, We saw DeMayo's diner as well. That was another Easter egg for Bo DeMayo. And God, I can't wait to find out why this man got fired. Please, please don't let it be nothing that's like, and now you can't like him because he's a piece of shit. Please don't let it be anything like that. Let it be something that we can get around or get past, or maybe that they will bring him back, because you don't want to mess up. If it's not broke, don't fix it. So if whatever happened between him and Marvel, if it wasn't bad enough to be like, leave this dude alone, then bring him back. We need him back. Justice says, love the Wolverine costume from this show and comics, but the one in this episode is the best, the OG. And he said, Justin also said, didn't realize that Bo DeMayo was his age. Yes, this episode had so many Easter eggs and he loved them. So yeah, lots of Easter eggs. Oh gosh, and it's just so much that, of course, I ain't gonna catch them all. I'll watch it. And I've watched this episode several times already, trust and believe. And then I watched New Rockstars, Eric Voss, and I watched Ryan Erie, and I watched them talk about it. And then I'm like, okay, I think I know it all. I don't know it all. There are things that I've forgotten. Oh, I like this X-Men Assemble moment. And, everybody come walking in and it's kind of slow-mo. And yeah, I loved it. Yeah, the president's name is Robert Kelly. So my little joke, he is that it's R. Kelly. Okay. Did anybody else know that something funky was going to happen to one of them when we lingered on them saying goodbye as they went off to lead their two different groups of X-Men on their two separate missions? On this goodbye, and then we saw that, and I'm like, something about to happen. Something is going to happen, and somebody ain't making it home for dinner tonight. Well, if you can cook, because electromagnetic field, you guys will have to bring the grills out. But anywho, y'all know what I'm saying. It really felt like something was going to happen. And Bastion, as they are approaching his little hideout, he turns on. He realizes they coming for me. So now he got to get his Sentinels all together and get things fired up for them. So the Sentinels, they've been sitting there waiting to get turned on. I don't know why these Sentinels got to be sitting down, because they are powered by Bastion. They don't really need to conserve energy or anything like that. So I don't know why they had to be sitting down. Bastion is trying to ensure their comfort, their level of comfort, I suppose. So, there's our Sentinel army. And here's my favorite part of the episode was when Storm and Jean say goodbye to one another, and Storm is like, make them mind your weather. And Storm says, make them weather your mind, sis. Oh, Lord, have mercy. Such a beautiful, beautiful sentiment. That is after Storm told Jean how much she inspired her when she had lost her powers. She's like, if Jean can come back from she can rise like a phoenix from the ashes of all the things that have happened to her, I too can survive. And I like all of that. But of course, again, I should have known that this was some foreshadowing here. One of the things that I guess I can say now is that I also like this new, darker skinned version of Storm. I feel like we have stepped back from being intimidated by having Black superheroes. For a long time, Storm has always been Black. She's always been Black. She's always been from Africa. But then she would be very light complexioned, very fair complexioned. And you think about it, we had Halle Berry playing her. Not that I didn't like Halle Berry playing Storm. I enjoyed it. Halle Berry is mixed. She's Black and white, and she's a very light-skinned Black woman. She's a safe Black woman. Now, I really hope that when we go into casting a live action Storm, that some of the darker actresses in Hollywood get an opportunity to play this iconic character. And of course, ones that we would have liked to have seen step into Storm's shoes have already been used by the MCU because we needed a bunch of Black people for Wakanda. But there are some out there, and maybe I'll do a video or something talking about some of my picks for Storm as in a live action Storm. You said Wolverine's hair seems to stay the same. Yeah, he used that good gel. Okay, so battle gets started. We are the Sentinels are starting their attack. We see morph into Hulk, and it got me to thinking. You know what would have been really nice right here is if the X-Men could have all stayed together and went and did their part of the battle with Magnus, and that the Avengers, maybe they could have helped out here, right? Yeah, it would have been nice. We know they're around. We know we got a Hulk. We know we got a Spider-Man. We know we got Captain America, and Captain America has a team because he said that in that episode where he showed up. He was like, me and my team are going to do. So where the hell are y'all at? When this is going down, shit then got really, the fan has been hit. Shit's flying everywhere. The fan has been hit. Where y'all at? I need explanations as to why you guys are not showing up to help here. I know this is the X-Men 97 show, but okay, we've already shown some Avengers, so now we got to have a reason why the Avengers don't show up. That's one thing, I guess, one of the nitpicks and something that I can take away from this, that I could be like, yeah, but we could have did this, and it's a nitpick. Oh, there goes DeMayo's Diner. It's hanging out back there, right to the left of the Sentinel head. You see DeMayo's Diner sign. Yay! But there's a huge fight going on. Yeah, huge fight. And then Beast with his joke, he was like, what is the sound of one hand clapping? And then he used the hand of the Sentinel to slap the Sentinel. So it's like, what is the sound of one hand clapping? Slap. It made me think of that. It made me think of that Dave Chappelle skit when Rick James was like, ha ha, what did the hand say to the face? Smack. I know. I'm silly. Justice says, love how they're treating Scott and Jean way better than the comics have last few years. Love the show's respect for these characters. Yes, this was great with Jean and Storm. I had a tear for real. Yeah, that was magic. It was magic. Justice said, yeah, I was thinking the same thing for the Avengers. Yeah, where the hell y'all at? I need y'all to show up. But I mean, I don't think I laughed so hard as when he said, what is the sound of one hand clapping? Slap. She was funny to me. Justin also says, but I think they're holding off in Avengers till a little later in the run. Rick James, Charlie Murphy. Yep. That was so freaking funny to me. And I know that say Sinister Silhouettes. Forgive me, y'all. But anywho, then some of my favorite action sequences from the from this episode. I gotta take a deep breath because gosh, I also got to put this up because y'all know I have been telling y'all I am completely like zero. I mean, when I'm playing, when I say I'm broke, I'm zero. I'm zeroed out. So if anybody's going to super chat today, would be a fantastic day to do it. And if you're going to super chat, if you can, consider sending a cash app. I rarely ever try to monetize or solicit for donations, but I'm in a bad way, and I do this every week, and I'll do it every week for free. But if you got it, help me out. All right. Said that. Now we're going to get into some of my favorite action sequences of the episode, and they concern Mr. Sinister. We got to see Mr. Sinister in rare effing form when he fought with Jean. He thought that he knew everything there is to know about Jean because he had did this whole DNA swap and this whole I'm a cloner. He thinks that that means that he knows everything about Jean. And Jean was like, I can show you better than I can tell you. And she did. She's gone into I'm going to show you better than I can tell you mode. BT Dubs, if you've not yet done so, please hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't yet done so, turn your notifications on, do all those YouTube things. Now let's get into some of the action. We saw him pull himself into the shadows and just like ink, hide under the shadows of different objects and then show up, sneak up on Jean and wham! He could just sneak up on her from behind, hiding in these shadows, and then wham! What did the five fingers say to the face? So yeah. So he is sneaking up on her and he is doing damage to Jean. And just the way he moves and how completely sinister he looks as he's attacking. He gets so it's actually effing scary. And hopefully they do this right in a movie at some point. Jean is she's on the wrong end of this butt kicking. She's on the wrong end. He continues to sneak up on her. And then she rises again like the Phoenix. She rises and she's telling him that, yep, you created Madeline. And yep, you know how long me and I, there has been separate entities, how long it had been that since you had replaced me with Madeline. I know you know that, but at the end of it all right now, Madeline is fighting with me. And bam, she gives it to him. She gives it to him. And when she just continues to give it to him. She pushes his ass down the lane of a bowling in the bowling alley. And you hear like all the pins like he was a freaking strike. Then she starts throwing bowling balls and little pool balls as well. She starts throwing everything at him telekinetically. And it doesn't seem like he was too worried or affected until he saw her pick up that jukebox. Is that a jukebox? That is a jukebox. When she picked that up and threw it at him, I think he knew that right now I'm about to be hurting. I'm about to be hurting, and he was hurt for a little bit. He was out of it for a second. Another thing that I really loved after we saw the asteroid that was carrying Magneto and his new team, we saw the International Space Station out in space next to the asteroid. And the people inside the space station are very interested in trying to see what the heck is going on outside this window by the International Space. There shouldn't be nothing else up here flying around. So they are looking and like, wow, what the F is going on? And I'm wondering if they even know what's going on Earth. They probably know, of course, that they have lost communication with Earth. But do they know, like, all of this has happened? He's got a front row seat to some craziness, some foolishness that's about to go down. Did we like the fact that Magneto said, I'm going to use parts of this Sentinel as a freaking throne? He said, I'm going to use what I've got. Everything is like secondhand and just stuff that has been thrown away. And Magneto's like, well, waste not, want not. I'm going to use this Sentinel hand as my throne in my new Genosha. New Genosha. Then the fight gets started, y'all. Oh my gosh. Here we go. It's not over yet now, y'all, because we got some, I'm trying to think how many. We got about at least 30 something more slides to go because I went freaking ham on the slides because How could you not? This stuff starts to get crazy. So Wolverine, when he first jumps on this asteroid, he immediately goes into attack mode. He's about to attack Magneto. Rogue intercepts. She could have, at this point, literally taken the gloves off, touched Wolverine, and got him out the fight immediately. She did not do that because they are X-Men. They are all mutants. They all are pretty much family. So it's like we're not trying to literally take the gloves off on each other. We're going to pull our punches a little bit, but I'm not going to allow you to interrupt with Magnus, what he's doing, because this is her way of getting some type of redemption, some type of revenge for what happened to Remy. And I still have to ask myself, has she been affected by some Sentinels? A little part of me says, Tasha, throw that idea out the window. But by the same token, I feel like she could still have been affected. And I'm going to probably stay on this hill until I know for sure that I'm wrong. We only got one more episode. So who would I like to see play Storm? I'm going to save it for content, but definitely not Tiffany Haddish. And no offense to Tiffany Haddish or her fans. She's not Storm material. I said that. So yeah, another reason why is because that I don't like the Sunspot Jubilee situation, and I don't know if Jonathan is still hanging out with us. I don't know, and this is another reason why. Sunspot Roberto kept his powers in check. He never used them, even when it would have better served him to use his powers. He didn't use his powers, but now all of a sudden you're fighting your girlfriend and you want to literally use your powers against your girlfriend, even though you guys might be, on the outs. Let's just say that you guys are having a disagreement. You gonna use your powers? This some old domestic violence type shit. Now you want to fight. All of a sudden, you're a tough guy now that you're fighting Jubilee. All she doing is throwing firecrackers and shit at you. Now all of a sudden you want to fight. That's why another reason I had an issue with Sunspot in this episode. Morph. He had morphed, because we're going back to the Bastion fight now. He had morphed into Sinister, and he's like coming to quote unquote warn Bastion, we need to hurry up because Xavier's brats they found their way. They found us, because Morph was going to just tiptoe up on Bastion and put the inhibitor on him, and then yay, the fight would have been over. Yay, we can go and join the other team and help them with Magnus. But nope, Bastion was like, what Morph should know, Morph should have firsthand knowledge that Sinister is a piece of crap. Sinister cares about nobody but himself. We've talked about this earlier in the episode. Whenever Sinister got an opportunity to put the knife in Bastion's back, he would have been happy to do it. And by the same token, he'll do it to anybody else. Sinister don't care. The only person whose ambitions he cares about are his own. So he don't care what Bastion was trying to achieve. If Bastion trying to achieve something is going to help him achieve what he's trying to do, then I'm Team Bastion. Until I don't need Bastion anymore, I will keep him, because he is a what? I ain't calling him an idiot, but that's what Sinister think. He's a useful idiot to Sinister right now. And on the flip, Sinister is a useful idiot to Bastion right now. They don't have no loyalty. Loyalty has been tested this entire episode, and it just really hit me. Loyalty has been tested the entire episode. That's what this episode has been about. Loyalty. And how far can one get off of being loyal? And Bastion has gotten pretty far from having no loyalty. Sinister has gotten pretty decently far enough from being a disloyal person. Magneto found himself. He's like, I've been loyal to my friend and his dream, and look where that got us. So now his loyalty is tested. Rogue, Sunspot, loyalty tested. Scott, Cable, loyalty tested. Jean, she made a decision after Sinister got into Cable's head, because he's been there forever. He has been in Nathan Summers' head for Nathan Summers' whole life. Sinister activates Nathan, gets in his head, turns him against Jean because he has some of the worst like he really hates his stepmom. He really hates her. He hates her for looking like his mama, and he hates her for not being his mama. And his daddy loves her so much, he does not like her. So Sinister uses that against Jean. And now Jean has to pull her punches because loyalty. That, number one, she feels a connection to Cable because she has absorbed the memories of Madeline. So she's already got Madeline stuff on her. Then, okay, this is my man's son. So regardless of whether I'm connected with him, this is my man's son. I can't do anything to harm him. But he's not, or Cable is not having any problems doing things to harm her. Because he got Sinister in his head, yes, but he would have probably, these are the things he's thinking. Sinister is only pulling at strings that are there. And we saw a sacrifice, right? And I mean, this was a true to life sacrifice. True to life. She looks in her psychic rapport with Scott. She's telling him, I love you. And Scott has to see his son do his woman, his wife, in. In the meantime, we're still battling over there on the asteroid with Magneto. And Magneto, again, Wolverine comes in. He's coming in hot. Magneto neutralizes him, throws him on back, and I don't think I got the shut up slide. He told Charles to shut up. They're fighting. It's a big fight going on now. Everybody, Charles is thinking to himself, they playing too rough. So if they're going to continue to play rough like this, Magnus ain't going to listen to us. He needs to reinstall this electromagnetic field. And if he ain't going to listen to me, then I'm going to go in his head and I'm going to turn it back on my damn self. So here we have Charles Xavier going inside of Magneto's head after they got the mask off of him. You see the mask is in Wolverine's hand. They got the mask off of him. So now X is going in his head. X gonna give it to you. Professor X is going in his head. He like, I'm gonna turn it back on myself. And he is frying Magneto's brain. He's frying his brain. We see how much intense pain, torture, having Charles rummaging around in his head, trying to find how to turn the lights back on. That is pain. That's an increasingly torturous amount of pain that Magneto is going through. So much so, because Charles is still, I'm staying in here until I find what I'm looking for. And it got to the point where Charles didn't stop until Cyclops hit him with a beam. Cyclops had to hit Professor X and get him out of Magneto's head because even he realized, you taking shit a little too far, Charles. You going too far. So he hit him with the beam so that he would get out of his head. Morph's plan was bad. Yeah, he should have been the one to know. I'm not sure if she's gone, but we'll see. Oh, I'm not done yet. Trust me. Justice said, love how much they use the actual panels of the comics for this fight. Yes. And for that 1 week that I had Marvel Unlimited and I was reading the comics, because they had it's free for a week and then you're supposed to have to pay after that. I don't have no money to pay, but I did enjoy that free week and I was reading them comics, baby. And yes, things were really truly lifted right out of the comic books. But again, it's still different enough. It's different enough. Professor X did not respond to Magneto. You know what? Because we don't know what's going to happen in the next episode, I'm going to keep my mouth shut about that. I will say this. He went into Magnus's head. He could have turned the lights off, but he needed the lights on in Magnus's mind because he needs to turn the lights back on for the rest of the world. Again, Cyclops said, I can't let you do that, Professor X. I can't let you. You will have to live with the burden of what you've fried your friend's brain to turn the lights back on. So I get it. I got it. And even Cyclops was first and foremost, he can't believe that Professor X was about to do this. But secondly, it's like, I can't believe you made me do this. I had to do this to you. At what point, how much are you willing to have at stake for this dream? And yeah, Cyclops, you could tell he felt a little bad, but he was like, Gold Team needs more time. But you did not stop Magneto from being pissed, because now, Charles, you done put me through this extreme amount of pain. I see now exactly how far you're willing to go to get your way in this. So now I got to ramp up what I'm going to do. And I've got to get my way. And he starts powering up and you start seeing, it's about to be ugly now that Magneto has begun to go into Magneto mode. And you can see he turned everything on. Oh my goodness. He was about to hit Charles with everything he had. And he's pulling everything that he can, all the continued pulling magnification or the electromagnetic field. I don't know what word I'm trying to use. He's pulling more and more into himself because he's about to unleash. See the International Space Station sitting there just right there caught in the crossfires. I would have been trying to get the F away from there, but it ain't nothing you can do. You can't move fast enough to get away from that. But anywho, Magneto starts crushing Charles's head. Because Charles, he put the helmet on Charles's head. So now Charles can't be in his head because he got the helmet on. So that's blocking Charles from his telepathic thoughts are trapped between that helmet and his head. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how Onslaught is born. That telepathic energy had nowhere to go. You basically locked yourself in with part of Magneto's mind. And the part of Magneto's mind that you've locked yourself in with is wrath, is vengeance. And furthermore, Magneto's trying to kill you. He's really trying to smash your fucking head in with this helmet. Yes, I enjoyed this part. Oh, I enjoyed it so much. Because again, things were just getting ugly. It was getting ugly, and I'm like, okay, how long are y'all gonna let Professor X's head get smashed before somebody steps in? And when we saw that happen with Magneto's eyes, it's because somebody stepped in. Somebody stepped the F in. And you see who somebody was. And the fact Me and Win Grace had just talked about this. X-Men 97 couldn't, that you could only kill the robots because you couldn't depict killing human. And if you killed a human or stabbed a human, or you could not depict blood. This right here is graphic, far more graphic than anybody ever probably imagined we would ever see on X-Men 97 on freaking Disney Plus. I know we already got Echo, and that was like a rated R kind of show. We already got that, and yeah, I know Deadpool has shown up on X-Men, but I didn't think we were going to see blood. I didn't think it. And then Wolvie. Well, before we get to Wolvie, because we've already gotten to Wolvie. We see him stabbing Magneto. Bougie Barbie said, "You're excited me about this series. I want to watch it now." I really hope you do, girl. Please. It's about to be over. We only got one more episode, and you can come back with us next week and talk about the final episode. But I encourage you to watch X-Men 97. I'm so excited by it. But let me see. Oh, I'm not gonna pick that up just yet. Hey, Win Grace, you made it. You made it. So thanks for being here. But yeah, Bougie Barbie, let us know in this here chat if you do go back and watch it and if you like it. Whether you like it or not, tell me, let me know. Give me that feedback. Tell me. So and again, if you watch it, especially if you're going to watch it and get caught up this weekend so that you'll be where we are next week, they're only like 30-minute episodes. So it's not like you're going to have to put in a whole lot of time. You probably going to have to put in about 4.5 hours. And I really hope you do and enjoy it. So Magnus got stabbed, baby. Our next slide is everybody's reaction to Wolverine stabbing Magneto. First and foremost, we see Rogue, because spoilers for people who haven't watched it yet, but Rogue and Magneto, they had a entanglement. They had an entanglement for a little while, and they only broke up because Rogue decided that Remy was the man for her, even though she couldn't be physically intimate with Remy, that she wants to be with Remy. She could be physically intimate with Magneto. Due to Rogue's power set, she can't touch everybody. So the fact that she could touch Magneto, that's what made them have their intimate relationship. And then she realized, yeah, I'm only with him because I can touch him. The person I really want to be with is Remy. And then Remy got killed. But okay, we'll move on. Everybody was in a state of shock seeing what happened to Magneto. Everybody. Nobody could believe it. It got quiet. It got quiet like church. And this is where Justin's comment comes into play, because Wolverine used Magneto's own line against him from the early seasons, and that is that the brave, what is it? The brave die first. I can't remember what the line was. Help me, Justin, if you remember verbatim what the line was, because I can't remember. His line was something like that, though. The brave die first. And the only thing that I could say is you should have made sure that Magneto was dead, because Magneto is still able to pull some power, and that's all he needs. That's all he needs is a little bit of power, and now he's shut. Because remember, Wolverine's skeleton or exoskeleton, or it's an inside skeleton. The skeleton that he has grafted to his natural bones is made of metal. It is magnetic. So when I saw him light up like this, we already know that Magneto has taken some kind of control over the metal in Wolverine's body. The brave are the first to die. Yes, that was what he said. The brave are the first to die. So you see his nails went in and his body starts to glow, which means Magneto is using his powers against him right here in this moment. But what happens next was fully expected, but unexpected. He went off. Magnus went all the way to F off, and he starts to inflict pain upon Wolverine. Now, can we be mad at Magnus in this aspect? I don't know if we can really be mad at him. Let me know if y'all think we should be mad at Magnus for doing this. But anyway, he pushed Wolverine through some pain. You got Professor X. That helmet is still being used or being held on his head by Magneto, because Magneto knows that if that helmet comes off of Xavier's head, then Xavier can get in his head. And if Xavier gets in his head, he's going to shut all of this down. Magneto feels like, I need to make an example of somebody right mother effing now. Charles Xavier is yelling, stop, no, don't do it, Magnus. And Magnus, in a moment of connection, of loyalty to his friend, they make eye contact. And you can see that there's a bit of loyalty in his eyes still to Charles, because that's his friend. They've been homeboys, even though, yes, they sit on different sides. Now they're the whole Malcolm X and Martin Luther King of the X-Men world, but they were still friends. And he knows that I'm about to lose my effing friend when I do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. So he goes from connecting with Xavier to back to vengeance, connection, vengeance. And the fact that you can see this in an animated character's eyes is just so freaking fantastic to me. So, bam, the screen goes white for a little split second, because what we're going to see next could be disturbing. Okay, so I'm before we get to where we're going, I talked about Onslaught a few weeks ago. I'm going to talk about it again before we get into the most flagrantly violent part of this episode. And where am I going? Onslaught is a different entity that is born of the worst parts of Magneto, his wrath, his vengeance, his hatred, and the anger that we saw of Professor X. And I gotta go all the way back up to, I think it was slide number 3 in this thing. Slide number 4. We go all the way back to that. The angry Professor X who woke up back on Earth, sleeping in the bed by himself. He got to pull his legs up out the damn bed because he don't have the armor that the Shi'ar gave him that were helping him walk. He's just back to this bullshit. Because that's the look on his face, right? We back to this bullshit. Back to this shithole. Back to the fucking ghetto on this side of the Milky Way galaxy. No, I'm just playing. But he's got some anger in him too. And that anger festered in his mind, even though he keeps it suppressed, there's still anger there. And in his mind, he's still holding on to that anger. And that anger meets up with Magneto's anger. And because Xavier keeps his anger, he keeps it under wraps. I don't know. I can't think of the word that I'm looking for, but he keeps it under wraps. And because he does that, there's a spot in his brain, in his mind, where it's really dark. He locks all of his dark feelings and dark thoughts in that little spot. And in that dark, that's where Onslaught was born. So Onslaught is not technically Professor X, and it's not technically Magneto. It's what happens when those two get together and have a baby. And Magneto and Xavier have Onslaught, and Onslaught is pure vengeance, pure wrath, and he is going to try to do everything. Because at some point, Onslaught convinces, and this is in the future, Onslaught convinces Xavier, yeah, Magneto was right. And we've been saying it quite a bit this season. Magneto was right. But once Charles kind of gets halfway convinced that Magneto was right, then his guard is down, and Onslaught can be let loose. And we don't want to see Onslaught, because in the comic runs, Onslaught, it took the Avengers, it took the X-Men, and it took the Fantastic Four, and it didn't end pretty. It took all of that to kind of stop Onslaught, and it still wasn't pretty at all. And I'm not trying to tell the entire story. We could talk about it in another time, in more detail at another time, because now we need to see what did Magneto, what did he visit upon Wolverine? And oh my God, I couldn't freaking believe it. Magneto legitimately ripped the freaking adamantium out of Wolverine's body, left him in intense pain. This is what we ended the episode on. They didn't give us nothing to cleanse our palate or nothing. This is what we ended the episode on. Magneto pulling the freaking adamantium out of Wolverine. We saw that shit. And now it's like, how do you come back from this? How do you come back from this? Yes, Justin, the scream. Justin also says, I love they have taken a lot from the comics, but have put their spin on it. So I'm hoping we see an evil Professor X cause all of this. Because here's where I think we end up fixing, I don't know how. I don't think we'll see the evil Professor X right away, because I think Onslaught has to have a little bit of time to fester. What I think we're going to see next is something along the lines of Dark Phoenix, Apocalypse, something like that. Something that will make Magneto regret having done this to Wolverine. There is something to me that is going to make this a whole heck of a lot. It's going to be less drawn out than the comics, of course, but I think we need to let this breathe for just a little while. We can see that things have gone completely left in Apocalypse, or something can happen where we see Gambit as the Horseman, or they can save that for next year, for next season. However we look at it, because again, I don't want to get into too many of the details from comics, because we do have at least one person here who is thinking about watching the series. And I'm not trying to make this shit so heavy that you can't keep up with what's going on in the series, because you're falling into our speculation. But I'm going to pick up these comics. Did I mention the Kitty Pryde thing? What Kitty Pryde? You talking about the outfits? Tell me what Kitty Pryde thing, because I haven't said the words Kitty Pryde. All I can think of is that they use the uniforms from the Kitty Pryde pilot that we never got the series from. And Angus says the adamantium was holding Logan's healing factor back. He's more powerful without it. And he's going to, as Justin said, he's going to become the feral Wolverine that we've seen in other comics. Animalistic. Justin says, my opinion is the last episode ends on a cliffhanger because all that's going on is going to be a lot to wrap up in one episode. I think that we have to wrap up something. We have to have some finality with something, but then you can leave those other threads hanging to pull for next season. But we have to feel like we accomplished something with the season. Somebody got to feel the same type of burn that we're feeling. We got this one episode left. How do they end this? How do they close this off? What is going to happen? Because it's going to be some blame gaming. Why? Because of Wolverine's, his position, the situation he's in, it's going to be some blame games. We can bet that. Yeah, he said that you should watch the Pride of the X-Men pilot before the finale. And I thought it was just because you can see where these costumes coming from, but I could be wrong. I don't know what the connection was. This week, have you noticed what he's telling us to watch for next week? To watch before next week. And that is cause and effect. No. Star Trek TNG, cause and effect. That is what he's telling us to watch. So what do we know? Because we are Star Trek people here, BT dubs. What do we know about Star Trek cause and effect TNG? Do we need to do has anybody done a review? Do I need to do a quick review and talk about how it could potentially influence X-Men 97's final episode? Do I need to do that? I think I should. And I'm going to tell you another thing of where I think, what I think. I always say what I think. So these are the things that I think. And it is, especially now that we know cause and effect is in play. And we have to watch the episode Cause and Effect. Cause and Effect. We have to watch the episode Cause and Effect, which is from Star Trek. And it is going to influence what's going on in the final episode of X-Men 97. We got to see some kind of time loop thing. Now, we know that Cable is here with us. Bishop, we've heard that we won't see him anymore this season. So what is going to run the clock back? What would make us have to continuously reloop one situation? And what situation do you think that we will have to continue to relive until we get right? Because that's what happened in Cause and Effect. Okay, but I'm going to do an in-depth. I'll do the in-depth thing. If you guys want it, I'm going to give it to you. It's going to give it to you. Oh. Justice says, yes, it was, but it also saves him also. I don't know what we're talking about there. I got lost. Justice says, yes, and it said, watch Cause and Effect from TNG. Bishop was lost in the time stream. Right, but where the hell is he? And we've already said, or at least Bodemayo said it, he could just be leading us down a dark alley like Jubilee and Roberto, because he wants us to be surprised if we see Bishop again. But he said there's gonna be no time travel stuff. Bishop, we've seen Bishop for the last time in this season already. So that was a couple of episodes back. He's saying we ain't gonna see Bishop no more. So if we don't see Bishop no more, we know that there's going to be we don't know. We think that there's going to be some time travel, timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly-ish going on. So if we're going to have timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly-ish, who is going to bring that on? Will it be the Phoenix? Will something like that happen where we need to go all the way back to Genosha We need to once again see Bishop trying to stop Genosha. He might not still be able to stop Genosha, but maybe you'll be able to drop a dime about this, and this, or whatever until we get it right. Because eventually we're gonna have to get it right, right? We're gonna have to get it right. I don't know what yes is for, but I'm going to do it. Wingray says I'm guessing him. I don't know. Bishop, I don't know. Genosha, I don't know. I don't know what we're talking about. I'm lost. Oh, I didn't see that they said no more Bishop. Could be a lie. Could be a lie. People lie. Men lie, women lie. The Wolverine skeleton. I'm lost. But I know this. The Wolverine. I'm lost about what we could have potentially been talking about just a minute ago. That made y'all say all those things. I don't know where my mind went, but it was gone. It was gone. Pew, gone for a second. But anyway, yeah, y'all. I don't know how I feel. I got a strong feeling again. We're gonna see Apocalypse. We're gonna see Apocalypse because we're gonna see Remy. I don't know how they're going to fit that in or when they're going to fit that in, but we know that that's going to happen. Hopefully, if Bougie Barbie watches it, you know, they don't do all this crazy stuff until next season, because I want her to be able to get the gist. I love it when somebody watches one of my favorites, because yes, I love to meet little acolytes and people who come and hang out with me. Oh, okay. Justin says the yes was Star Trek. The saving him was the metal skeleton of Wolverine. The saving him. I'm confused. No worries, because I'm still confused. I'm gonna be confused. Don't you worry about it. I'm confused. Well, I appreciate it, girl. I really hope you like it. I really hope you like it. I know I got a strong feeling you will. It is a smart show for an anime series, and in fact, it is. I'm going to go out on a limb now. It didn't used to be adult animation, but I still think now that it has stepped its game up to adult animation at this point, and it is teetering over a line that makes me think that there is a possibility that this will translate into the movies, but then I hope it doesn't, because I like it being its own thing. Okay. Yeah, I can't. I don't know. I'm lost. But yeah, so tell me, was it something else I was supposed to be talking about? Did I bring up something else through the stream that I said I was going to explain later and that I haven't explained, because I do forget? So we got one more, y'all. We got one more episode. The OG fans who were kids at the time are a quarter century older now. Yeah, we're all old as dirt now. I was in my 20s when this came out, so we all are old as dirt now, Gosh, they kept us in mind when making this series. They was like, everybody gonna love this. The new people, the old heads, everybody gonna love it. I agree with you. I watched the animations when I was a kid. It has grown up since then. And I guess we can see what Angus is saying. It kind of has to grow up because we grew up. We grew up. Shoot. I graduated in 91. I graduated from high school in 91. So let's be real. I graduated from high school in 91, and that came out in 92. By 1994, I was a mama. And from that point on, me and this kid, because I got him watching this, because they don't like to listen to me. And I'm like, you need to watch X-Men 97. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it. And then it finally got to where, like, I'm desperate. You gotta watch X-Men 97. And my son watched it, and he ended up binging damn near the whole thing that night. And now we were all caught up. together last week. So we watched the next episode together. And now, it's one more episode that I get with my kid. I love. We've been doing this for 30 years almost. Me and my son watching these shows together. um yeah, I don't know if I had anything else. So you were almost a teenager when it started. Almost. I was, like I said, I was driving. I was punching the clock. I had to go to work and shit when the new episodes came up. Oh gosh. So, does anybody else have any thoughts on where we're going? Because I believe we're going to finish out Onslaught. I mean, we're going to finish out Fatal Attractions. We're not going to finish out Onslaught. Onslaught is going to come to me. For me, this is my theory. Next season, we'll see some Onslaught. So with this season, we're going to finish out Fatal Attractions. We probably, maybe, will have to see how we handle Bastion and the Sentinels, and how we handle Mr. Sinister, because he's a psychopath, how we handle all of the shit the fallout that we're going to have to deal with from this episode. But I really feel good that this came to that conclusion. It took me to the middle of us talking about it here for me to say this entire episode was about loyalty. And yeah, it was. So was the entire season about loyalty? I don't know. It's giving me something to think about. I don't have anything else. And yeah, I don't have nothing else. I'm trying to. Next week will be epic. I really wish it was a way that we could just like all watch it together. Is it a longer episode next week? I haven't heard anything about the episode length. And I'm trying to see if there's anything online, any online chatter. Yeah. I'm trying to see if it's any, oh gosh, I'm starving. Any more chatter. Television's Extinction. Doop-de-doop-de-doo. Doop-de-doop-de-doo. I'm trying to see if they've given us any indication of how long that episode is going to be. Nope. They've given me nothing to go on. Let me see. They've given me nothing to go on. Nothing to go on. I don't see anything anyway. Now, if you guys see something, please let me know. Let me see. Yeah, I can't. So it's a lot to wrap up next week. Yeah, it is. However, I got a strong feeling that we are going to be pleased with what we get. I hope that we'll be pleased for what we get, with what we get. Yeah, I don't see anything, and I'm really trying to find something to give us a hint. So next week, okay, so we saw that we did things a little differently this week with the live streams, and I don't know how it works out for everybody else, but I think right now that it's going to work out for me to do X-Men 97 next week Friday, and that is only because we're going to have so much. Let me see. Yeah, we're going to have so much to wrap up. So we would have X-Men on Friday. Wait a minute. No. I'm looking at my board, y'all, the things that I've got written down for next week. So next week, I got Saturday, X-Men 97. I got Sunday Star Trek Discovery, and I got Monday Doctor Who. But that's not this weekend coming up. Y'all have already seen what my schedule is for this week. I posted it on our Discord. I posted it also on YouTube and on Facebook. That things, things are going to look a little different this week because of Mother's Day. And I am going to take Mother's Day off. But and I want this to be big enough for y'all to see it. But this weekend, this is what things are looking at. Like, we doing X-Men 97 today. We doing tomorrow Star Trek Discovery. Nothing on Sunday. And then on Monday, we're going to do Doctor Who. And then next week, we are going to have the same 3 shows, but I'm going to do them Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I'm going to put another schedule out. Does that work? I'll put another schedule out. There's also, again, what we got coming up. If anybody is watching Evil on Paramount Plus, please let me know if you guys want to do a live stream on the Evil. This will be the final season of Evil, and I truly love this series. So if you're watching that, I know we got some Doctor Who people. Now, mind you, Clarence, our friend in the chat, he does Doctor Who with Discussing Who, because it's a whole clique of them. They're more of like, they're going to go into some of the lore of Doctor Who. All I can do with Doctor Who is watch episode by episode. I do know some of the lore, but I am not well versed in the lore of Doctor Who. Don't mind getting to be well versed in it, but I want to. If you watch Doctor Who, join us for that. And then we got some Star Wars stuff coming, and The Boys. Y'all know how I am about The Boys, and everybody don't like The Boys, but I do, and I will be discussing that as well. Girl, you ain't said nothing but a word. You watch Evil too, girl. Now, did we just become best friends? Oh, shucks. Did we become best friends? Hey, Justin, thank you for the happy Mother's Day. Thank you. Doctor Who is out right now, and it's in the United States. I don't know what it's looking like in the UK. I don't know, but in the US, it's out. So yeah, Bougie Barbie says she is trying to get people to watch Evil for the past few years. I know a couple of people who watch it, and I've been trying to get people to watch it as well. But if it ain't nobody but me and you and my bestie Lysandra, we could just sit here and talk about that together. And girl, if you want to come on the show with me, you could come on and sit with me side by side, on the screen and talk. You could just have your voice and talk. It doesn't matter to me. If you want to do that, let me know when we get ready to do Evil. When Grace, we gonna try to get you on Team Evil. Yes, you're gonna be here for Evil. Right here, girl. Right here. When Grace says that Doctor Who drops the same time on Disney Worldwide. Issue is it's the middle of the night for Britain, which is why they're mad. Oh, okay. So yeah, it's a difference. It's at the same time, but it's not at the same time. It's going to be at a reasonable time here, and they're going to have to get up in the middle of the night there. And hopefully our selfish and freaking inconsiderate asses don't just start dropping spoilers every freaking minute because we've seen it already, because that's what we do. We don't be canned. So yeah, so I guess I need to get on off of here and watch Doctor Who, but but I'm gonna be getting into Doctor Who again. Clarence and them do discussing Trek. You can join me here on Monday, and then join them there on Tuesday on Discussing Network to do Discussing Who. So and when Grace, are you doing some Doctor Who too? Because When Grace has a channel, covers a lot of the same kinds of stuff that I do. Not everything that I talk about, but a lot of the same stuff where there's some overlap. And we're friends. We're YouTube friends. So every chance that we get, we kind of big up each other. You have to big up each other because we're all trying to grow. Again, my goal is to do 2,000 subscribers. I said by the end of the year, and it was starting to look like for a little while it was like, ooh, I'm gonna have to do X amount every month for the next 6 months, and then all of a sudden I pick up almost 200 subscribers off of one video. Not saying that that's a bad thing, that's a great thing, but now I kind of have to balance the things that I want to talk about, because some people came here for baby reindeer. Some people came here for good times. Y'all know I ain't talking about good times ever again. Ever, ever, ever. I'm never. This should not be mentioned. It's just like the burn. We don't talk about Bruno. We don't talk about Bruno. But anyway, it's been fun, y'all. I'll be back here tomorrow at 5:30 for our Star Trek Discovery conversation. Everybody is welcome. You don't have to be an expert on Star Trek or Star Trek Discovery. And again, it's another final season. So this will be the last time that we'll be able to talk about Star Trek Discovery as far as new episodes this season. So let's just get out. And people are loving it. Even the people who didn't like it are loving it. See y'all tomorrow. Okay, so Wingray says it depends on how he feels about these episodes, but he will probably be covering Doctor Who. So hopefully we got that. See you later, Bougie. Thank you for being with me again, girl. And Justice says, I'm getting there. Yes, it's moving. It's like tick, tick, tick. So yeah, it's been fun. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.